Hi, I'm Sophia. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to do this combo. I've had lots of questions about how to do it and particularly how to get into it and hold that grip point for the first several rotations that we have to do. So this is an intermediate combo. Doesn't mean you can't do it if you're not at an intermediate level, because it's not dangerous or anything like that, and nothing inverted. It's just that it does require some pole knowledge. It definitely requires some skin conditioning and some upper body strength, because we are going to do this up the pole today. But if you're still learning how to do your combos aerially, then I definitely encourage you to do it from the floor and maybe learn one spin at a time. But today we are going to climb. Now, there is an Anastasia in this particular combo, so of course I'll go through how to do it, but if you really want an in-depth lesson, there is a lesson on this channel about how to do that. So definitely go and have a look at that, and I'll link it as well in the description if you would like to learn that move in a little bit more depth if you haven't done it before. Please make sure you're warm, of course. It goes without saying, because we're going to go straight into our combo and we're going to do it on one side. But of course, as a pole dancer, you know you need to do both sides. Let's get started. So we are going to, the majority of this grip actually for the first several spins it's our hood ornament grip, but we've really got 2 points that we want to focus on. So the first one is at the top of the thigh, where your bottom becomes your thigh, that kind of meaty area. That's where you really want a nice solid grip, because like I said, most of our spins are going to come from that grip, and then also from your armpit grip, from your hood ornament. I like to do 2 things to really secure my grip point for my underarm. So the first thing is, obviously we want to squeeze the arm across the body so that we're pushing the pole into the grip point, but also it really does help to slide up and down into the grip, because it pulls on the skin as well. So we have a skin grip as well as a pushing grip at the same time, and it really does make it quite secure. So what we're going to do to get started is just take, say, 2 climbs, climb however you want to climb, and then the inside leg is going to thread through. Now you want to thread it quite high, at least 90 degrees or parallel to the floor, or even a little bit higher if you want to, but not really lower. Okay, so let's make this our minimum. Around 90 degrees, let's shoot for. And if you think about threading the leg forward and then around, again, it's going to really push into that grip point and enhance, staying on the pole where we want to stay. So let's try. We'll take a couple of climbs. Don't overthink your climbs. Just however high you want to work is fine. So we want our outside hand on the top, and of course the same leg at the back of the pole, so that we can thread through and around. So my leg wasn't quite at 90 degrees there, so I don't have as good a grip, but you get the point. So you're really pushing into the back of the thigh there. So just to clarify, the best way to get into it is outside hand from your climb is on the top, and the same leg, so the outside leg comes to the back of the pole. And then what that does, so that you can push into this grip point here, and while you're learning it, go ahead and flex your foot there if you need to. We'll talk about that later. But for now, outside hand, outside foot to the back of the pole, so your inside leg can come through and then sweep around to the back. As your leg sweeps around to the back, you don't have to focus on keeping it at that kind of 90 degrees, although of course you can if you want to, but it's really just for the placement of this forward motion here. So 90, sweep, and push. And as your leg sweeps around and you're pushing into that grip point, that is when we really engage our glutes and push our hips forward. And for this one, ideally, I'll show you sideways, as you push your hips forward, you want your hips really forward of the pole. Then of course we're going to slide our arm into place here, and the more you lean over this arm, we'll again talk about it a little bit later, but the more you lean, the better the grip and the more ability you have to thrust your hips forward, because your leg is at the back of the pole. So what we're going to do is repeat that, thread, sweep, bring this arm forward and squeeze it across. Outside hand is going to come across, and we're just crossing at the wrists. And then from here, we're going to interlace the fingers, turn them out and press them up into a diagonal, and just make an attitude with the back leg. How high you get your leg is really going to depend on the placement of the pole, which is why we're placing it up high. So if you have good back flexibility, which is the second way that you're going to get your leg up really high as well. I don't. My back flexibility is, I would say, moderate. So I never get my knee quite as high as I want to, but if you can, go for it. When you do an attitude with your back leg, really try to focus on lifting your knee. You do want to lift your toes, but what happens when we think about only lifting our toes is that instead of that. So you want to try to lift your knee and toes. It's a lot of glute work and a lot of hamstring work. The more you thrust forward, the better the grip, and also the better it will look as well. Let's try it. So we'll take our climbs. And remember, we want to bring our outside hand to the top. And then your outside leg is going to go to the back of the pole. Thread through to that 90 degrees. Sweep, get it into your armpit. Arm squeezes across, cross at the wrists. Now from here, interlace, extend to the diagonal, bend and try to keep that knee lifted, squeezing your hips forward. So to really emphasize the grip points and also to hold your shape, it really helps to lean over. Can't stress that enough. And don't worry if your shoulder dips, it's fine. As long as you've got the grip point, it's fine. So the more you can lean over the pole, squeeze across and lift your knee, the better the grip points, the better the shape hold as well. Let's move on. So we have our entry, squeeze across here, interlace, push up to the diagonal, lift the knee, press the hips forward even more. And then we're going to just slowly extend the leg. This arm is going to come forward, so the arm that's pressing into the pole, and this hand is just going to float backwards. The softer the elbow, the wrist, and the fingers, the more beautiful this spin looks, because we're unfolding from here. And just think about floating your arms. So think about as you, and of course if you want to as well, go for a nice big back bend. And we're just going to lead with the elbow, roll, and extend back with straight legs. So let's do all of that. We'll take our climbs. Like I mentioned last week, unfortunately, I can't play music as I would absolutely love to, so I won't be playing any music for this combo, but please put some pretty music on or something that speaks to you, and let's run these first few spins. So let's take our climb. Outside hand comes to the top, outside leg goes to the back. Thread through to 90, pull it into the armpit, squeeze it across. Cross at the wrists, interlace the fingers and push. Attitude with the back leg, lean over, press the hips forward. Now extend the leg, unfold, elbow, wrist, fingertips. So if you're not accustomed to spin, by about now, you'll probably be starting to feel quite dizzy, especially on that last spin when we look up. That's kind of the killer in terms of making you dizzy. Ideally, just for the beauty of the shape, we want to look up, but it does add to how dizzy you might get. So a good rule of thumb is to look down your inside shoulder. I'm not saying that it takes all the dizzy away, because it doesn't, unfortunately, but it is better than looking up. So just keep that in mind if you need to. Okay, so that's the first half. Now we're going to go into our beautiful Anastasia. I love this move. It's a little finicky to try to slide down into it. So we're going to talk about how to do that now. So as I mentioned, we want to slide down into it. That is why we want to start higher for this particular combo. It really helps to slide down and catch the grip points for this one, rather than trying to get them all in place on the pole. Slide down and catch. All right, so I'm facing you this way. So from here, we want to hold the pole with our outside hand. around waist height will give you a lot of space, okay? So from here to here. Now what we need to do is get the pole from our armpit where it currently is to our elbow for our Anastasia. There's really two ways to do it, and neither are, there's not like a right or a wrong, it's just what works best for you. You can either roll the pole, which is a little tough on the bicep, like it does push into the bicep a little bit, so, and especially your nerves. So if you're not used to that kind of rolling action with the pole, then it's better to lean out and kind of almost replace it from your armpit to your elbow. Either one you're doing, you still do want to use this hand to push yourself out to create the space. So our body is going from here to here. So you see what I mean? You can roll it down or you can lift in place, it doesn't matter, but you do want to lean out with your chest to create the space in order to do that. Now, one of the things about Anastasia, I think that it looks like a forward-facing move, and that's because we give it the illusion that it's forward-facing, but when you're setting it up, it should feel like you're sideways on the pole. And it's a really good way to gauge your grips by doing that. So we're here, and then this leg, which is extended to the side, you're just gonna grab some thigh. Don't overthink that too much about where you grab it. You just want to try to grab, under. When you do in a teddy and you kind of grab under and pull, you won't get right under your thigh, but if that's where you're aiming for, it's kind of the best thing because you can get some good meaty thigh. We're leaning out. The grip point is the same. From your sweep hood ornament, here, grab, anywhere on that thigh that you can, grab it. By this stage, it's in the elbow. And as you slide down the pole at this stage, you want to lift your leg up. So let's just try that. Let's take a climb. Let's go straight into our straight leg hoodie or figurehead. And then let's just try to get into that Anastasia. So I won't spin it too much. Just want to show you here. So from our straight leg hoodie, holding beside your face, pulling out away from the pole, starting to slide down into the elbow, grab the thigh. Keep sliding down. Now lift the leg, squeeze your bum. And then once you're there, that bottom leg comes up. We'll add that in a minute. So hopefully you saw there that you just want to guide your slide with your top hand. Just slide down. And you don't have to do it quickly because the spin looks beautiful. You don't have to worry about trying to get into the Anastasia as fast as you can. Just take your time, put your hand on, slide down until you can feel that grip catch in your elbow. And that is when your leg should start to lift up behind you. So lots of glute engagement, lifting up behind you. And now we'll talk about how to give the illusion of it being a forward-facing move. Okay, so we're down here. We've started to lift the leg. What we want to do is start to turn the chest out. Now, you don't have to even turn it fully around. Just a little turn of the chest. What it does is that it pushes your hip forward slightly, which is what we want. And then it turns your chest, and that's enough. That's all you need in order to create your Anastasia. And we're just doing a little flurry with our arm and a reach. But don't try to think that you have to turn all the way around in this move because you really don't. Grab, slide, well, actually, slide and grab. Lift the back leg and engage. And I find that once I've got it, if I slide down a little bit further, it really locks this elbow in. So even though it's in my elbow now, if I keep going down a little bit, it enables me to engage the leg more to lift. Keep the chest lifted because it will keep your back extensors working and it'll keep you, it'll make you be able to hold the shape better. So keep the chest up. Turn the shoulder out slightly, which you don't even have to worry about your hip, that will just follow. Just a little turn and we'll do a little flurry of the arm. So as you start to turn the chest, as well, or even just before or at the same time, it doesn't really matter, don't overthink it. Your bottom leg is going to bend up. So you want to think about pulling your toes up towards you. Is it a grip point is what I get asked all the time with that bottom leg. Yes, but it is a minor grip point. So your leg that is at the back here, as you bend, you'll probably find you get a little bit of extra grip somewhere between here, which is good, and you can use that. But again, it is quite minor compared to your elbow and compared to your glute and thigh as well. So let's try that. We'll go from our straight leg hoodie, and we'll just try the slide down into the Anastasia. So we'll thread through and around into our straight leg figurehead here. Grab beside your face. Now I'm just going to start to grab for my thigh, slide down until you can feel it catch in the elbow, and if you want, give it a little bit more slide. Bend the bottom leg up. Now turn the chest out, give it a flurry, and then to come out, we're going to extend the bottom leg. Grab, reach up, release that leg, and come into, we'll go back into a layout as well, just to complete our combo. So that's definitely the hardest part, in my opinion, of the combo, is that slide down to into Anastasia. It really is the resistance to rush. Take your time. And if you need to slide down more to get it, just keep sliding. Feel the catch, give it a little bit more. The more you lift your back leg, the more you keep your chest lifted, the better your back extensors will work to hold you in the shape. Let's try the whole thing, and then we'll talk about how to finesse it and make it pretty. So we'll take our climb, give yourself some space, definitely, and you can pretty up your climb as much as you'd like. Outside hand to the top, outside foot to the back, thread it through to about 90, sweep it around, get it in the armpit. Cross at the wrists, and now interlace the fingers, attitude, press forward. Keep squeezing the hips forward. Now extend your leg, and then unfold the arm into your straight leg figurehead. We're gonna grab the pole beside our face, start to slide down, take your time, grab the thigh, lift, wait till it catches in that elbow. When you're ready, lift, turn away, and into your Anastasia. Extend your bottom leg, catch, still using the grip point of the thigh. I'm gonna release the leg, reach up high, swap my legs, my butt got stuck, cross it over, bring your hand down, and we're coming back into our layout. So in this combo, as I said, please pretty up your climb however you like to do that. And let's just talk about, we've already mentioned really some of the things that make this combo beautiful. It really is that combination of strength with softness that makes this really lovely, because it's quite strong on your grip points. But what we want to do is keep soft through our face so that we're not showing how hard we're working. And also, the more floaty your arms, the more softness you bring to the combo. So just think about that in terms of transitioning through those first few spins. Crossing at the wrists is really kind of feminine and pretty. And we just want to then interlace the fingers, stretch them forward. Remember, we want to lean down, lean over towards the leg. And then with our attitude at the back, keeping the knee lifted, as we said, and of course, it goes without saying, toes are pointed the whole time and ankles are long, which is quite hard with this one because there are several times where we feel like we need to use our foot as an anchor. But if I can just stress that if your toes are pointed, not only does it look elegant and beautiful, but you're still pushing in with the same grip point as if your foot was flexed. So just try to press that same part here at the front of your ankle and foot into the pole, and you'll keep your grip there. And the more you press your hips forward, the better this grip will be. So just keep that in mind. Going back to our arms, so from here, then when we release the arms, in order to create a bigger float, sometimes it's really nice to almost go back over to come back, rather than straight from here back again, just to create more of a movement, a softness with the arms. But of course, I mean, it's up to you, but sometimes I do that, especially if I've got lots of spin on my pole and I know that I can hold the spin longer. I'll just accentuate the release of the hands and then go back into that straight leg figurehead or hood ornament. And as I already mentioned, elbow, wrist, roll through the fingertips. And with this one, you just want to be as soft as you can to keep that really light, beautiful feeling as you're reaching back. And even though the grip should be quite strong here, remember that we're pressing the hips forward as well, but we're keeping that softness in the arms. And then from there, hand comes across, we've talked about this, into our Anastasia, and a nice little flurry with the arm will help to keep all of that beauty and softness as well. And finally, I just want to talk about our gaze direction. Of course, I always encourage you to just, choose your own gaze direction, just pick one and try, because there's never a right or wrong. But for this combo, what we're going to do is look down our inside shoulder for the attitude figurehead, and then we're going to follow our fingertips with our eyes as we go back. We're setting up here, and then we're going to follow our fingertips with our eyes again. And then as we sweep into our layout, we're actually going to drop our head right back for a little bit more dramatic effect, which is also really lovely to do sometimes as well. That's a lot to throw at you, I'm sorry. Let's try this combo together one more time, trying to put all of those pieces together. Remember, finesse always comes after when you have got the combo and when you feel strong in the combo. So if you're not ready for finesse, come back to it later, but I'll talk it through as we go through it now. Pop some lovely music on and let's go. We'll take our climb. Get some height. Outside hand, outside foot, 90 degrees, big sweep around, and here we go. Interlace the fingers, looking down the inside shoulder, pointed toes. And now extend and unfold the arm. We're going to grab the pole around face height, start to slide down, take your time, slide down more if you need to, catch it in the elbow, turn the chest out, lift, and look beyond the fingertips. And now keep the leg gripped, swing it around, and for a little dramatic effect, drop your head back. And that is it.